Bonsoir. This is an impromptu video. Bonsoir. This is an impromptu video prompted by my having watched Tiffany's latest video today, August the 23rd, 2026, entitled Neck Update Cancer Journey 2026. What will be compared is this video with this video. Now, her next to last video that was entitled The End Radiotherapy Cancer Journey 2026, if I click on that, just to get to show you the information on it, that was released on August the 9th, which is exactly 2 weeks ago. Now, that doesn't mean that she filmed it on August the 9th. That means that it was released August the 9th. So we do not know when her last video was actually filmed. Now, how am I able to go back on this? This is what I don't understand. All right, so had to bring it down. All right. So here is what I did. Well, before getting into the hair situation, I would like to make just a little mention about her lunch. Now, is this lunch or is this a snack? I am assuming this is lunch. Because if all of this is a snack, whether it's for one person or two people, it's too much. Okay, so to me, this is lunch. Now, I understand this is a fairly large piece of cake. I understand splitting into two. That's fine. That's normal. Even the coffee, even this juice. However, if this is lunch and there is a grown man involved, I don't think that the sandwich, half of the sandwich, is sufficient for a grown man. You could say, well, it is sufficient because he must have eaten half of the cake too. But is the cake healthy? So should lunch for a grown man consist of one half of this sandwich along with half of this cake? That's not a healthy lunch, and it's not really, I just, there's something wrong with that to me. I've never seen a grown man just eat a little half like this with half of a piece of cake. All right. So, and if it was a snack, this is a highly unhealthy snack. So all around, I do believe there's something wrong with this picture. Now, maybe there is something she isn't telling us. Maybe he had more food at home, which is great. But then don't come on screen and then, tell people she shouldn't come on screen and tell people, well, this is normal. No, this isn't normal. I'm sorry. This, to me, if it's a snack, okay, it's normal to cut it in half. But then the question begs the question, is this a healthy snack? Is this a normal snack? Well, considering that I only weigh myself 102 pounds, I do not consider it a normal snack, but maybe it's just me. So let's go on to the more important aspect of what I'd like to present now. Obviously, I just want to compare her hair length. So what I would like to do is compare the hair length in the video she posted, the end. This is from the video, her August the 9th video. And this is the hair as it appears in tonight's video, August the 23rd. Now, I don't have them side by side, so I'm just going to flip very quickly. So here we have August the 9th video. Here we have August the 23rd video. Now, the question is, based on the hair length, how much time has elapsed? Well, I do believe it's more than 2 weeks, but again, I'm not an expert. So what I did is I used ChatGPT. I input in both of the pictures into ChatGPT, and I asked ChatGPT the question. The first is a picture of a person on day X after a certain amount of time has passed. The second is a picture of the same person. How many days have passed since day X? Of course, I had to cut it off at this point because I accidentally pressed enter. Now, it tells me there's not enough information because it says it shows the same person. Because you see, here's a little, I don't say it's a glitch, but it's a peculiarity of ChatGPT that garbage in, garbage out. One really has to frame the question in the way one would like it to be answered. And one would like it to be answered based on what the parameter is, it's growth of the hair. So I refined the question, or I added something to the question. I said, estimate based on hair growth if possible. Then it gave me an answer. It said, yes, roughly hair growth gives a possible estimate, but it's quite uncertain because the photos have different angles and the hair may have been cut or styled differently. Well, I don't think it was cut or styled differently, but anyway. Comparing the two, the first photo looks very short, roughly 1 to 2 centimeters on the sides and on the back. Second photo, the sides and back appear closer to 3 to 4 centimeters with noticeably more length around the ear and nape. Average scalp hair growth is about 1 to 1.25 centimeters per month. That suggests, listen to this, approximately 1.5 to 2 months between the photos, or roughly 45 to 60 days. So the best estimate is 50 days. And it does say that the margin of error based on its analysis is plus or minus 2 to 3 weeks. So let's just say plus or minus roughly 2.5 weeks. Roughly 2.5 weeks plus or minus. August the 9th was the day she showed her last radiotherapy session. Tonight is the 23rd of August. So if tonight's video shows what? It shows a delta of roughly 50 days, plus or minus 2.5 weeks. So let me look at the lower estimate. 50 days minus, let's say 2.5 weeks. That puts us at roughly what? Roughly a month. So there's roughly a month difference between this and this. At the lower estimate, there could be 1.5 months or even 2 months, but the lowest time estimate between this and this is about 1 month, approximately 1 month. So basically, her radiotherapy, all right, her radiotherapy was finished sometime in July. Okay, so we are the 23rd today. We are the 23rd. That means that, and she didn't film on the 23rd. She released the video on August the 23rd. What she showed tonight was already, after her birthday, but before the 23rd. So if we take a month, we subtract a month from August the 23rd, roughly we're going to get July the 23rd. So that would mean that July the 23rd would be the day that this video here, her last radiotherapy session, was filmed. Okay, July the 23rd. But we know that she is behind, and because tonight's video wasn't August the 23rd. Okay, so the latest she would have finished radiotherapy. No, the earliest she would have finished radiotherapy is July the 23rd. Okay. So let's just take a round number. Let's just say July the 20th. Lundi, mardi, mercredi. Okay. Let's just say July the 20th was her last radiotherapy day, which it's a Monday. So she would have finished on a vendredi. She would have finished on a Friday. So the closest Friday to the 23rd, not exceeding, would be July the 17th. So I'm estimating that the latest she would have finished radiotherapy is July the 17th. All right, which makes sense. Why? Because if she finished around July the 17th, which was a Friday, scans would be 6 to 12 weeks later. So 6 to 12 weeks, 1.5. 6 weeks is 1.5 months. So that really does put us at September to have a scan. 6 to 12 weeks. Now, where do I get the 6 to 12 weeks? I get it from asking another question, and I'm going to show you the answer here. My next question I asked is about radiotherapy and about how long after the last day of radiotherapy has finished would someone be scheduled for a scan. Again, I didn't give it enough precision. It says it depends on the type of cancer, etc. So I refined the question. well, I didn't refine it. I added some information. Colorectal cancer, metastasis to the supraclavicular area. Radiation was to that area and also to the rib area where there is another metastasis. Given that this is a metastatic colorectal cancer with radiotherapy directed at a supraclavicular metastasis and a rib metastasis, the timing depends heavily on whether the radiation was intended primarily for symptom control or for local disease control, and whether the scan is being used to assess those treated sites or the overall metastatic disease. Well, I'm not going to get into more precision of her condition because that's not the point of this video. I'm just trying to find out a delta T here. So anyway, they continue by saying that radiation oncology follow-up would be 2 to 6 weeks later. Imaging to assess the treated metastasis commonly is around 6 to 12 weeks after radiation, although there isn't a single mandatory interval. So 6 to 12 weeks. That would make sense in light of exactly what Tiffany said now. If her last radiotherapy session was at the latest July the 17th, which was a Friday, okay, so I'm back calculating that, then we're talking about exactly 6 weeks from July 17th to the end of August is 6 weeks, okay, 6 to 12. That really puts us, well, 12 weeks would be in October, given this time frame, but 6 to 12 within that time range would put us right in September. And true to form, of course, she does not say if it's beginning or end of September. But in conclusion, my estimate is that at the latest, she finished radiotherapy on Friday, July the 17th. Her sessions began on a Monday, and they ended on a Friday. So I do believe her last session, again, the latest was July the 17th. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this situation. And really, you know, she doesn't have much to hide. Like, what I'm trying to say is she does not have really reasons to hide the dates of anything, and I don't know why she continues doing that, because it's really not helpful. She could be more helpful by showing something like this and saying that, for example, if the person finished radiotherapy on day X and was scheduled for a CT PET 6 to 8 weeks later, that would be quite a plausible interval for assessing treatment response. A scan only 1 to 2 weeks after radiation would generally be less useful for judging the actual tumor response because radiation-related inflammation can complicate interpretation. So, this is all that I would like to show you this evening, and thank you for watching, and please let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you think that July 17th is a plausible last radiotherapy session date scenario? And do you also think that at least 1 month has gone by between her last radiotherapy session and the video she posted tonight? Thank you very much. Bonne nuit. À bientôt.